Hello, and welcome to a BMC how-to video, how to create logical views in Mainvew Middleware Monitor. My name is Steve Meshke. I'm a lead technical support analyst for BMC software.
Okay, so welcome to today's training video, which will be how to create a logical type manually. You have two options. The first option you can use is you can go to tools and you can use dashboards and create dashboard templates and whatnot. Now, for some customers, that's not going to be something that they're going to want to do. They're going to want to create a standalone logical view that they have customized specifically for their environment. So what you need to do is you need to start by creating a logical type. Now, what I've done is I've created basically a test scenario where a user wants to have an agent, queue manager, and queue depth for multiple agents and queue managers on a single view. So I'm going to use that basic idea to create a single logical type with multiple types beneath it. Okay? So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the Logical Types tab in the Management Console. Then we're going to go into Edit Mode. Once we're in Edit Mode, let's click on Logical. You will see the Create New Type button light up. So we'll go ahead and click on that. For the purpose of this exercise, let's call this, we'll call it New Logical Type, okay? So New Logical type. Get that out of there. Okay. So once we hit return, you'll see the button light up. So what this is going to do, if we look in the Operations tab, is there will be a new type name called New Logical Type. Everything we create underneath that will be instances, which are the subtypes. So let's start by hitting the plus on Create New Artifact. Then we will go ahead and create an artifact name. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to make these names, give them a logical name that we know what they are. So in this particular case, we're going to use a particular type, and this particular type is going to be an agent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this Agent 1. Then my type is going to be network hosts. Okay. And then I'm going to select agent status and host name. Okay. Once I do that, I'm going to click Save Artifact. So now you'll see that there's an artifact here. For that particular artifact, which is a network host, you will see agent status and host name. Now we'll go ahead and do the same thing for the queue manager. So we'll say I'll create another new artifact. We'll call this queue manager 1. And then we'll go down and find WebSphere MQ queue managers. And again, we're going to go down and we're going to say we want to know queue manager name and queue manager status. So here's our status and queue manager name, and go ahead and click Save Artifact. So now we have Agent 1, queue manager 1, and you can see how the logical instances are going to be. Now we're going to create one more, and this is for the local queue that we're going to use. So we'll go ahead and hit the plus again. And we'll call this local queue 1. And this type will be a local queue. So let's get that set up here. Local queues. And inside this, we're going to select queue name and current queue depth. So there's current queue depth, and then we scroll down to queue name and click OK. So now you can see that we have an agent, a queue manager, and a queue. Now what we can do here is we can clone these artifacts. So let's say we had 5 different queue managers and agents on this view, we could clone it each one of these for each one of those instances. I'm going to do one. So I'm going to say, we'll call it agent 2 and hit save. And then I'm going to select queue manager 1 and we'll clone that. We'll change it to queue manager 2, save, and then local queue 1. And we'll go ahead and change this. We'll clone this and then we'll get local queue 2 like so and save that. Okay, so now we have all our artifacts created. Now we want to create a new instance. So our new instance will be called we'll call this new dashboard and hit return. Once you hit return, you'll see that this tree lights up. So first we'll pick our agent level and then we'll make an association. So this is how we're going to make sure that these things map to the right things. So we're going to go with this host for this one, and agent 2 will make the same thing, except we'll do it with this host right here. Then we'll do the same thing at the queue manager level. Queue manager 1 for this one, which will be this association, and then queue manager 2, which will be, we're using this particular one. And then we'll do the local queues, the same thing. We'll drill down into here and we're going to select the DL queue because that happens to be the queue I want to use. Like so. We'll make the association. And then the last one was this one, local queues, and there's DL queue, local queue 2, and make the association. Now, what we have done is we have made an association for each of these things that have a corresponding logical type. So these physical objects in the right pane are all now associated to logical paths in the center. I'm going to go ahead and click the Save button. Now, when we go to the Operations tab, once it's done saving, we will see in our logical tree, we'll see new logical type. We'll expand that, we'll see new dashboard. New dashboard is where the new view will exist. Now what I have done is you can go ahead and use the toolbar in the center to create new objects, but I've already done that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load a group that I've already created, which I called test block. And let's just ignore this because it was previously associated. So now what we can do is now I have my logical types. I can go ahead like this and I can say, here's my agent 1 host name. And then I'm going to click my agent status. Okay, that's the so queue manager 1 queue manager name and queue manager status. And then Q1, here's my current queue depth, and here's my queue name. So as you can see now, for this particular object, we have all these things reporting to us in live time. Now I'm going to load the group again, my test block. And the reason you see these errors is because the group that I had saved was part of a test that I had done previously that had associations in it. You can replace them with the new associations, but that's the only reason you're seeing that error. It just means that there were previous associations. So now, just like we did before, we can select the host name and drag it here. Then we can select the agent status and drag it here. Our queue manager name, which would be queue manager name 2, and our queue manager status. So you'll notice that we've got our host names and the respective queue manager names. And then we'll go to the queue name, and then we'll go to the current queue depth, like so. So go ahead and click the edit pencil. We're going to save and say, okay, we've saved our changes. Now, as you can see, we now have a new dashboard. I'll close this and reopen it. If we click on this dashboard, now we have a logical view that shows us on the view the host name and status, the queue manager name and status, the queue name and queue depth for this particular thing. Now we could do this, we did this for another one, but we could do this for as many different iterations of this as we wanted. So this is something you can certainly consider using. These things don't have to be in collections. You can make them separate. You can enter graphics. You can do all kinds of things to make it more intuitive. Some people will put arrows in between, or put a drawing on here to emphasize a workflow. You can use automated scripts to change colors of text, as you can see here, or you could use animated text boxes to use stoplight type technologies to show, green for running, yellow for not unsure, and red for stopped. So all of these are, this is the easiest way to create a custom logical dashboard.
If you have any questions, please contact BMC Software Support. Thank you.